Hey guys, it is Candy Mama again here from the Dower Duo, and I have an interview with Screwball that was done on March 14th, so you're going to be hearing from him a little bit. He's still on trail, currently assessing the situation. But after that interview, we're also going to have a tough conversation about coronavirus and some new updates. Of course, after I posted this last update yesterday, the ATC came out with another notice or another little blurb about the ATC and the Appalachian Trail. So we'll go over that. We'll also go over some tough news I have for y'all, mostly about the Appalachian Trail. So first we're gonna play that interview. It's a lot of fun. Again, this was done March 14th, so before the Appalachian Trail Conservancy came out with some notices and some things to think about. We weren't really thinking about the communities, the impact on communities, and I was all kind of about the hikers. But now, since we have a better understanding, it's been a little different. But yeah, cool. So let's play the interview first, and then we'll talk about some tough things after. All right, stay tuned. Hello again. It is our third interview for the day. Today we had Screwball and Camper and your wife Nancy stay with us. So tonight is our first night with some amazing Thru Hikers. Right now I'm with Screwball. You started what date?
February 15th.
You started February 15th. So we're just going to talk with him and kind of get some, maybe some advice and maybe some stories, some good stories. But yeah, stay tuned. Screwball, tell us your full name, if you want, where you're from, and just a little bit about you.
Well, I'm Stuart Malone. I'm from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. 54 years old, and got a wife and two kids that are adults now, so I got time to do the trail.
Cool. So why, I asked Camper this, and he gave me a really good reason, and Oso too. But why February? Why did you decide to start in February?
I was thinking of starting in the middle of February, trying to get ahead of the bowl, especially going to the Smokies. As far as the 15th, that's just the day I picked. So I'm going to not be solid on it. Depends on the weather. It turned out we had great weather the first 3 days. So really mainly just to get ahead of the bubble.
Okay.
And, I'm no big rush, so I can take my time now that I'm out of the Smokies.
Sure. Cool. So how has the weather been for you? I talked to Chit Chat and Dinner Bell about this, but the weather I've seen has been rainy and snowy. How's that been? How's that affect you? Because you're from Alabama.
I am.
So you don't get a lot of snow there.
No, we don't get a lot of snow. I expected, snowy weather and stuff starting that early. So, I've enjoyed it. It's part of the trail experience. So once you get moving, you're warm. Beautiful scenery. The snow makes nice scenery. You just got to, you got to embrace what you got and make the best out of it. So
yeah. So what is your big motivation for doing a through hike? Because anyone can do like sections or like day hikes, but not a lot of people decide like, I want to do a through hike. What is the draw towards a Appalachian through hike for you?
I mean, I don't really know. I've always wanted, well, I can say I always wanted to do it since I was in high school. So for over 35 years now or more, I wanted to do it. I'm retired, so now's a good time to do it. Just something I want to accomplish. There's things that I've started in my life and haven't completely accomplished, and this is one time, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to quit until it's done.
Right.
It's just one reason I'm doing it. And,
when you are on trail, what is a motivation for you? Because you have like this motivation to start, but when it comes to like day to day, is there any times where you just think of this one thing and you're like, all right, that's it, I'm making it? Just
to the next town or the next, spot or something. I mean, mainly that's it. Just whatever's next. The next view or the next.
I feel like that's honestly a good, for anyone watching, that's kind of like what I did. I don't know if Jonathan thought that way, but for me, it was like, what's the next thing? I don't need to be thinking about the big picture. Right. The big picture is very overwhelming when you think of like Katahdin, because it's so far away. But when you think, okay, what's the next town?
One step at a time, yeah. I mean, our first step was, mountain crossings, and then Franklin, and then the NOC. And those little steps made the first big step. Once you got to Fontana Dam, that was your first big step. And then the Smokies, in a sense, was another big step. It wasn't as big as the first step, but it's still a big step to Hot Springs now. And then, the next big step probably be, for me, making it into Damascus.
Yeah, that is a big one. That's like your...
It's just the next point that you look forward to.
Yeah, for sure. So your next big step is Damascus. When was it real on the trail that you were like, here? Because I know at one point Jonathan was like, this is real, I'm here, we're actually hiking, we're actually doing it. And he just, at one point, I think it was right before Max Patch, he just felt really free, and he just felt like, we're doing this, we're gonna make it. Has there been a point where you're just like, I'm doing it, like I'm through hiking finally after thinking about this since high school?
There have been. I can tell you exactly what points and stuff, because at different points, you're at certain points, you're like, wow, I'm looking at the view, and while I'm actually out here, I'm not gonna say there's one certain point that is just really overwhelming, because there's so many. Every time you go up a mountain and you got this great view, or you just go around the corner and there's a waterfall, I don't know if there's one in particular time or not.
Yeah. There's a lot of great things on the Appalachian Trail. Like for me, I think it was Max Patch when we actually got up to Max Patch, and you guys didn't stay up there on Max Patch, did you?
Yeah, we didn't. No, we did not camp. No, we spent about an hour or so, in the middle of the day.
Yeah, just the sunrise and the sunset. For anyone watching, if you get a chance, just camp up there on Max Patch. It's for me, it was very freeing, and even though we had norovirus. It was very freeing.
Yeah, we couldn't, our time didn't.
Yeah, it didn't line coronavirus one. So with coronavirus being, emerging now, I talked to Dinner Bell and Chit Chat, and they were telling me that they didn't really know it was a big deal until they actually got to Hot Springs and someone called them up and told them. For you, have you known about the emerging?
Yeah, I talk to my wife about it every day, so she's been keeping me informed on it. Am I worried about it? I mean, of course, in a sense, you got to be worried about it, but really, I think my biggest worry is all the hoarding and stuff that's going on. When they get on down the line, I'm going to be able to get the supplies and stuff. But as far as, it's happening, so I want to be worried about it. Me sitting here worried about it on the trail is not going to help anything. Nothing I can do about it. Just keep my hands washed and try to stay away from too many people. Which, hey, look, I'm on the trail. I'm not in a town. With
I feel like, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I feel like it's the safest place to be right now. At least one of the safer places.
I think it's one of the safest places.
You guys are around each other.
We're around each other now. If
it
ever gets started, it may not be. It may be like some other thing. But we're not going into any major towns. We're going to try to close it. But who knows? It may be over in 2 months, and it may just continue to get worse. So.
Yeah, for sure. All right, last question. What is the one piece of gear that you feel like you would have to buy over, or what's your favorite piece of gear that you can't hike without? Camper said his hiking poles.
And that's what I was thinking. The trekking poles would be tough now that I've got used to them, especially because you use them a whole lot more than you think you do. Plus my tent is, with that. A lot of people don't think about it, but your rain jacket or your rain pants in the cold in the morning and stuff. I wear mainly this t-shirt, and then I have my rain jacket on. It's a windbreak, so probably my rain jacket I reckon would be my next, because I don't want to wear a heavy something. But that windbreak, that right there, just really helps in the morning to get you're not cold, you're not hot.
Yeah, and you can take it off easily
right,
too.
It's easy to remove whenever when time comes. So
yeah, cool. Well, it was nice talking to you, Screwball. How can we follow you on social media?
Well, I'm on YouTube, Screwball 2020.
Okay.
Also Instagram and Facebook, Screwball 2020.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Nice talking to you.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, like I said, of course, hours after I posted my last update from yesterday, things changed. The ATC came out with some new notices, and other things changed too, which I'll go over. So one, I'll go over the ATC's quick and dirty, kind of talk about their notice, their article that was titled in bold, "Please stay off of the Appalachian Trail," in all bold. So we'll go over that really quickly. We'll also, I'm looking at my iPad, by the way. I'm not just kind of like looking away from the camera, but that's what I'm doing. We'll also do, like a Thru Hiker update. We'll have another conversation, another open conversation about being respectful in this age of coronavirus and Thru Hikers, and kind of understand where they're come from. I talked a little bit about that yesterday, but we'll talk about it a little more because I think it is important. We have some hikers here tonight, and we're about to teach them, me and Jonathan are about to teach them Settlers of Catan, so that's what Jonathan's doing right now while I do this little update. We'll also kind of go over some other Appalachian Trail 2020 updates. And then lastly, I will talk about the bunkhouse. We have some tough updates about that. I think you guys can kind of realize where that's going, but that's going to be at the end of this video. So stay tuned for that. But we'll start here with the ATCs and the ATC's little blurb and little article from the head of the Conservancy, which was titled, "Please stay off the Appalachian Trail." And in bold, again, they have this big statement. The first statement, it's in bold, and I will quote it right now. "In these, quote, in these unprecedented times, I am making an unprecedented request. Please stay away from the Appalachian Trail," quote, or in parentheses, AT. "Whether your hike is for a couple of hours or a couple of days, staying away from the trail minimizes the spread or contraction of COVID-19, end quote. So reading this, I picked out some points that I thought were good to mention. Go over to the Conservancy and read it yourself, but this is what I took from it. Trailhead parking lots are exceeding their maximum capacity. A lot of people are going outside. Shelters are full of overnight hikers, which that was in the article, but hearing Thru Hikers, what they're saying, that didn't really seem like the case. A lot of people are camping or tenting, or there's not even any overnight guests in the shelters. But anyways, that's just what I've been hearing. But they also said day hikers were using picnic areas, and privies and group trips are being continued as planned. So that just creates an environment in their eyes to spread COVID-19, which is totally understandable. Like if you were at McAfee's Knob, if you've ever been there, the parking lot is very small, and though it's not super possible to contract it like passing by someone by doing like your social distancing, at the Knob, I could see why it could possibly spread there if you are in close quarters with people, because it isn't like a big spread out area like Grayson Highlands. It is a tourist spot on a knob on a rock, so if it is popular, which it was when we were there, I could see it easily spreading there. So that makes sense. Areas like McAfee's Knob and some other areas. So they also say in there that popular areas on the Appalachian Trail has seen record-breaking levels. Normally, I would be super excited about this because I absolutely love the Appalachian Trail, and I wish that everyone just had a chance to kind of experience it. But in this day and age, it's concerning, and I can understand that concern. And quote, "Hiking the AT has become, in other words, the opposite of social distancing," end quote. Quote, until the risk of spreading COVID-19 has reduced significantly, hiking on a heavily trafficked trail like the AT potentially increases rather than reduces harm, end quote. I sort of agree with that too, in a way. I've heard a lot of thru hikers talking about how Max Patch is super busy, like the parking lot is super busy, and the actual bald is pretty busy. And thru hikers are keeping their distance. They're like, no, don't get near us. So, you know, it's hard to, on a trail, especially if you're trying to perform good leave no trace and you don't want to step off trail, and you also want to perform social distancing, it's going to be hard to do two of those things. So in a way, it's kind of better to just stay off the Appalachian Trail. They also say in this that they can't physically prevent anyone from hiking on the Appalachian Trail, but they can urge everyone to stay off, and they have some really good points. So again, I would recommend you to go read it and understand it yourself. But my thoughts reading it was like, it was geared more towards your day hiker. Since a lot of people are cooped up inside, they think the outdoors is a really great place to be, and it is. It's a great place, but the Appalachian Trail is so heavily used. I could see in some areas such as Max Patch or McAfee's Knob, it could spread somewhat easily there. However, like on a regular trail where there's no like big tourist area, it might be a little harder. Like you might see like 3 people a day, and in that case, the chances of contracting it would be lower. But it seemed like they did mention thru hikers, but it was a large emphasis on day hikers. Yeah, so I just say again in here in my notes, I just say a lot of thru hikers are talking about how Max Patch was super busy, the parking areas, and actually like the bald up there was super busy. Yeah, but that is from the ATC, and I would just go ahead and read it yourselves. It's got some really good information there, and kind of make up your own determination on what they said. For me, I feel like it's geared towards both thru hikers and day hikers, but mostly I felt like the wording was geared towards day hikers. For thru hiker updates, I have seen a large decrease in the number of thru hikers walking past my house, because like I said, the Appalachian Trail is right on the Appalachian Trail. I literally see people walking the Appalachian Trail from where I'm at. I've gone a day when we first started out, when coronavirus wasn't a big concern. I would see 30 hikers going back and forth up to Laughing Heart. They would go to town. Some would just be passing through. I would see an average of 30 hikers a day. Now I'm seeing 10, about, I would say roughly 10, and it's just decreasing and going lower and lower. And that includes people staying with us too. But a lot of thru hikers are heeding the advice, but some really don't have anywhere to go except for north, and I will talk a little bit about that. But a lot of thru hikers have gotten off the Appalachian Trail. That brings me to my next point, which is being respectful online. I saw this morning, but I will quote this. This is a post straight from the Appalachian Trail 2020 Facebook group moderator. That group has been archived, and officially nobody can comment on it because it has been such a toxic place. But I will quote his entire wording on that. Quote, notice to members, it seems apparent that the Appalachian Trail 2020 hiking season is a bust due to COVID-19. It's a terrible twist of fate for many of you who have made major adjustments in your lives to hike the Appalachian Trail. Some of you have sold property, quit jobs, skimped and saved money for years, and had to try to explain the Odyssey to family and friends who just don't understand. Hiking the AT is a real sacrifice. It makes me sick to think about it, and I'm so sorry that this has happened to you. I started this group hoping to hike the trail myself this year, but life had other plans for me. Regardless, I continue this group in the hopes of helping the class of 2020 connect with one another to learn from and encourage one another. Myself and moderators Bree and Joe have invested many hours free of charge to try to run this group in a fair consensus way. Joe and Bree are the absolute best. Yay, Joe and Bree. In a recent, that was not in there by the way, but quote again. In recent days, we have been thanked by harassment, threats, and abuse around the clock. We have spent hours dealing with squabbles, needless reported posts, etc. I never imagined the level of hatred and abuse that hikers were capable of towards one another. I am shocked and disappointed. I dread starting my computer every morning to begin the cycle all over again, and I don't have to feel this way. This group, in short, no longer serves its intended purpose. After discussing the matter, we are going to begin the process of shutting this group down. I understand the anger and frustration, but enough is enough. Those of you who are still on the trail need to go home. The logistics of through hiking the AT are difficult at best, and you are making it hard for the authorities to get control of the pandemic. You're putting people's lives at risk. Those of you who plan to hike the AT in 2021 or 2022, you are welcome to join one of our other groups, end quote. Again, I don't fully agree with all of what was said, especially the last part about making it harder for authorities to get control of the pandemic. But I do agree with the fact that people have been so visceral, using these visceral words to hurt each other, and kind of just put their opinion out there and just force it on people. And it's so sad to see that, because before, these Thru Hiker Facebook groups used to be a solace for me, because I could just talk to people about my hobby of backpacking and my love of the Appalachian Trail, and most of it was supported. But now it just seems like a place of arguments and hatred, which is sad to see, like I mentioned yesterday, kind of about that. We should talk about these things, have conversations. Again, I said this before, but we should have conversations, not arguments. Especially online, it is hard to see a little profile picture and assume or think of that as a real person instead of just this made up person in, online world. Think of this as a real person. Think of those people as real people, and have a conversation and try to understand where they're coming from, both sides. Like, either you're staying on trail or you're not staying on trail. Try to see where both sides are coming from. I promise you it would be a lot easier, a lot nicer, and calmer that way. I have a heart for Thru Hikers, and my heart really hurts seeing a lot of them going home. But I also am trying to understand. You guys know my view. Like, I do feel like a lot of them should go home. But then again, I'm hearing what they're having to say, and it breaks my heart, because many of them have nowhere to go. They have put their lives on hold and sold a lot of things, including their home, and just to make through hiking a possibility. These mountain towns, it's not as easy as just saying get off the Appalachian Trail. These mountain towns, especially Hot Springs, right now I think I'm one of like a couple shuttles that are actually operating in Hot Springs, taking people all the way to Asheville. But these mountain towns don't have Uber or shuttles. Uber is not easily accessible. Like, I don't think there's any Ubers here. If there were, they're probably not getting a lot of business. But there's not shuttles really operating anymore, especially because typically older people do that, and we do not want to put them at risk. But many of them have no choice but just to keep going. And what they can do is just practice proper social distancing and hope for the best. And I know that's really tough to hear for a lot of you, just saying like, get off the trail. But it's tough. You just really need to talk to these people, understand where they're coming from, honestly. But honestly, like, the hatred and the strife and the arguments it's getting really old, and it's really sad that a united group such as the Appalachian Trail, all of the alumni and all of the novices, all the people that are trying to get on this year, there's just a lot of hatred, a lot of mean words. And it was fine about 3 weeks ago. Everything was fine, and it just blew up, and that's terrible to see. And I just hope that we can become united again. So that brings us to the Appalachian Trail bunkhouse. We have closed down. That was a decision we made, me and my manager Lindsay and Jennifer, the owner of Blue Ridge Hiking Company. We made that decision after getting a call from Madison County 911 saying that they're putting in a recommendation of shelter in place, not shuttle in place, shelter in place, meaning that if you don't have to go anywhere, like go get food, don't do that. So because of that and because of this new ATC article, we have decided to shut down the bunkhouse. We're still taking the reservations that we had, but at the moment we are not taking any more reservations. We are shuttling people to the airport in Asheville, which is an hour away, at reduced rates so they can get home if they need to. But we just can't put the Blue Ridge Hiking Company at risk anymore. We have risked a lot staying open as long as we have, and we have tried to keep the place clean, which we've done an excellent job. I do the cleaning, so I'm kind of like, go Tara, but honestly, like, I have done an incredible job just trying to keep it clean, trying to keep it so we can just stay open as long as possible. We've helped over 40 Thru Hikers that are looking for a place to stay after the hostels in the area closed. We have helped a lot of hikers get restocks, to give them, education on the coronavirus, to get them connected with any family. We took 2 hikers, Frosty and New Hampshire, to the airport to send them home. And we've just done everything we can to keep this place running, but at this point it just seems like the best option is one, to not encourage the Thru Hikers to keep going, but also just to shut down for the betterment of the Blue Ridge Hiking Company, so we don't go against any local government recommendations at the time. So we have currently shut down, and it hurts me to say. I'm really sad because I was looking forward to this season, just being around all the hikers, and I've enjoyed these last couple weeks helping the Thru Hikers in any way we could, but it comes to a point where we just got to do the right thing, which is really tough. But I think that is all for right now. As of Hot Springs is currently operating just fine. I think the Alpine Court might still be open. I heard a rumor about that, and Laughing Heart Lodge is still open, and they're doing reduced rates for hikers as well. And the Dollar General has a great resupply, so y'all go there and support them. Hillbilly Market has gas cans, so go there as well. The Outfitter is closed, and all the restaurants are closed to dining in, but you can take the food out. So Hot Springs is still looking good, y'all, just not for laundry or a shower if that's what you're looking for. Again, the Lodge and Alpine Court are open, but if they're all booked, you're out of luck. So this might be just a stopping point for a lot of people, and again, we are doing shuttles to the airport. It really hurts me to say that, but this year looks to be like in that guy's article, or in this guy's post, the 2020 is hiking season is a bust due to COVID-19. It's a shame. Nobody wins. Nobody is winning. Nobody's happy about this. So let's just try to stay united and help each other and have conversations and encourage each other, and come up with they're playing Catan. I think I told you guys already, but they're playing Settlers of Catan, which is fun. Yay. But yeah, let's just try to help each other. Let's stay united. Let's be a group again. Let's be happy. Yeah, that's lame. Whatever. I think this is done. We're about 20 minutes now, so I think it's time for me to end this. But that is the updates from Hot Springs. I really hope I didn't disappoint anyone with us shutting down, but it just seems like the right option. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, definitely comment. We aren't doing anything at the moment, so I can spend a lot of time on YouTube, and that's exactly what I'll be doing. So be expecting a lot of videos from us. All right, see ya, bye.